Hello and welcome to Console Cowboys. So in this video, we're going to talk about social engineering from the social aspect of it. Not your running scams and then pretexting and making something happen and crossing our fingers and hope it happens, but instead the social aspect and understanding how the world works, how people view the world, how they interact with the world, and the things that they do so we can predict what they're going to do before they do it. When we see a sequence of events, we should understand how people interact with the world, and even if we don't even know the person on the other side of these events, we should be able to kind of threat model and profile them and understand based on what they're doing, the type of person they are, and what they're likely to do next, and you would be surprised how you can be accurate 100% of the time. If this sounds like something you might be interested in, let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and let's get right into it. In order to do this, you actually need to learn the social element. But once you learn the social element, these things become natural, right? We're not just going to come up with, okay, I'm going to go to the front door of this facility and pretext that I'm a Verizon employee and I'm coming in to look at some kind of network crap. Yeah, that's great. But how about, integrating that into already all the social aspects, and even if that fails, you can talk your way through it with the people and deal with any situation that comes out of that, rather than crossing your fingers and hoping that they don't reject you. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I've already recorded this like twice and my audio didn't work the first time, which pissed me off. So we're going to hope it runs this time well and I don't screw it up because, I was on point a minute ago, so I'm kind of pissed right now. But hey, let's think about this. So regardless of where you are right now and what your level of social interaction is, you can literally make this part of your life. From the simple steps of I'm on an elevator and there's a person here, I can say hello to them. And that might be your first interaction with the world, right? And see where that goes from there. Have a conversation with them about something random. If you work in an office, you should be talking to people all day long. Right? So those people that, kind of make you uncomfortable at work, those are the people you want to talk to, because we generally live in this world where we have our friends, and our friends are like our little mini-me's, and they're kind of like us. They could piss us off sometimes. We have some differences, but for the most part, they're similar to us, and that's why we vibe with them when we feel comfortable with them. But in order to do social engineering for penetration testing, you need to feel uncomfortable, right? And the way I learned to do this is from things like skating back in the day or breakdancing, all of these things where, everything we're going to do could likely kill us, but we have to do it anyway and execute it. And, it might be just to get it on tape once and it might be absolutely crazy, but we have to squash that fear and we have to move forward. And those uncomfortable situations that you create for yourself will translate directly to penetration testing, because it's kind of like if you don't train for a MMA fight and you get to this MMA fight, you're going to get the ever living shit kicked out of you. So we're going to train for it by interacting with the world around us. Who are the people that you don't necessarily like that want to take you out places and hang out with them in situations that you're not comfortable with? Maybe they want to go out dancing and you're not comfortable dancing. Go. Maybe they want to, go out to places that you absolutely hate and hang out with demographic of people that, you're just not comfortable with or you don't vibe with. Well, go hang out with them, because you're going to start understanding these different personalities. And even if you don't like these people necessarily, you want to understand what makes them tick, because likely they are going to be on the other side of the interaction when you're breaking into something at some point. So if you work in an office, one of the things that you can do is start turning your office into a penetration test. You have a badge and they check that badge and you're supposed to wear this badge. Well, stop wearing your bloody badge. Put your badge in your pocket. I want you to walk around your office and see how long it actually takes. It might take a day. It might take a week. It might take a month. They might never even question you. And this is something you got to get used to. Like, okay, I need to feel comfortable not wearing my badge. And then when they question me, do everything in your power not to take out your badge and to get through the scenario. Okay, hey, you're not wearing your badge. Oh, yeah, shit, I left that at home, blah, 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 blah. Try to get them to go get you a temporary one, man. Because, if you broke into a facility and you tailgated, obviously that would be fantastic. If you can show no evidence of anything, but somebody inside, because you're already inside, gives you a badge. I've had this happen at a very secure government facility where they went and got me a standard lanyard, a standard like thing to put my badge in because I had a fake badge, and then they put it in there for me and I looked all official, right? So you want to get through those uncomfortable scenarios by creating them for yourself. So you might have this badge in your pocket. They're going to question you. You're going to just have a conversation with them like you normally work there because you do. But it's going to put you in that slight uncomfortable situation where you know you have that badge and you really want to pull it out and feel safe, but don't feel safe. Talk your way through it, because worst case scenario, at the very last minute, when shit's gonna hit the fan, they're gonna call security. You go, oh shit, wait, that's right. It's right here in my bag. I forgot. I packed in my bag, pull it out, or it's right here in my pocket and just pull it out. All problems are solved. But you got used to that uncomfortable situation. You got used to talking through things that are going to pop up. And when you get questioned in a facility, you kind of know what works, what went completely terrible, what might work. And like the fear is less because you can talk like a normal human being through it without freaking out. So let's say you don't work in an office. Well, that's easy to do as well. Go to a conference or go to a concert, anything where you have to show something, and do everything you can not to show that. So if I'm at a conference, one thing you'll notice, I'm never wearing my badge, and it pisses off the goons at DEF CON, or, the people at the conference that are checking for badges, because they always have to come up and question me. And I do everything possible to never show anything, continue on having never showed anything into the conference. And worst case scenario, I can pull out my badge, no big deal, but I never really have to. I can usually get out of it and then completely bypass it and move on with my day. Or I can see like, okay, well, I felt a little uncomfortable all day not having it, where everybody else has their badge and I feel a little bit different. And working through that gets me used to being in an uncomfortable situation. I can give you countless stories on this. Let's say you don't even go to conferences. Well, when I was younger, I used to go to movie theaters all the time. I never paid for a movie, probably for like 7-8 years, something like that. What I would do is I would just walk past the ticket guy. There's usually a reasonably good space between the ticket guy and a wall. And, the line would be there. I would walk by them. I'd be walking down the hall and the ticket guy would be like, hey, do you have your ticket? And I just put my hand up in the air and be like, hey, I'm all set. And then I just keep walking. And the guy would kind of just look confused and then never come after me. He's busy. He doesn't care. He figures if I got balls enough to do that, then I probably have a ticket, because if he comes up to me and I don't have a ticket, we got a problem. So yeah, it just worked because confidence and then getting used to uncomfortable situation. But I can bring like that up to a whole nother level. So I was at a tattoo shop when I was like 18 years old, right? And I picked up this super hot girl. She was probably like 16. She wasn't old enough to get into the movie that she wanted to go to. So I was like, don't worry, we're good. No big deal. Typical scenario. I know I can walk past these people. I know they're not going to say anything. So we did it. Hey, yep, nope, we're all good. Keep walking. Problem is, when we got to the end of the hall, there was the 2 movies that were rated R. And there was 2 guys standing right there, literally almost no space to walk through them, just, a person-sized space to walk between them. And they were checking IDs and they were checking tickets to make sure that no kids slipped into these movie theaters with the rated R movies. And she's like, oh shit, we're in so much trouble. I'm like, don't worry, I got this. I walk up to the guy and I'm like, hey, which one of these movies is better? Like, which one do you think is better? And the one guy looks at me and he goes, dude, it depends. What ticket do you have? So I ignored him and I look at the other guy and I put my hand on his shoulder and I go, hey, if you had a choice between these 2 movies, which one would you go to? And he goes, oh, I would definitely go to this movie number 1. I was like, thanks, dude. I pat him on the shoulder. I took the girl by the hand and I just walked straight through them and I walked into that movie theater, right? And we sit down. They didn't say anything, by the way. The guy I put my hand on his shoulder, he's just smiling because I think he knew what I was doing, and the other guy just looked confused. But because of that confusion, because of that confidence, I walk straight up. I sit down next to this girl, and this girl is just like, you are out of your bloody mind. How did that even just happen? fantastic, right? So that's just an example of everyday life stuff, right? So when you go into the real world and you have to present something, don't present it. Now, I'm not telling you not to pay for a movie, but maybe you buy that ticket, you put that ticket in your pocket, you try something like what I did and see if they question you when you do it. Worst case scenario, you pull out your real ticket and you hand it to them, right? No harm, no foul, but see what you can get away with. You know, if you're going into a concert, if you're going wherever, don't just give them what they want. So I used to also go to concerts, and I remember like there was no cameras allowed in those concerts back in the day, and people really didn't have, you know, cell phones to take videos, or they didn't allow them to take videos. I wanted to tape this girl's concert because she was one of my friends, but I didn't really tell her I was coming with a camera. So I just showed up with this camera, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just here with the band. I'm filming for them tonight. They're making a music video. And he's like, okay, just don't tape the opening or the closing act. I'm like, yeah, no problem, dude. I got you. And I just walked through. Like he never verified with the girl that I was there to do a taping of a show and or that I even knew her. But he just let me through because I literally just had the balls to just say that and walk through. And understanding that, like, interacting with concert people, interacting with venue people, interacting with these people and understanding like, okay, well, you're doing a video for this person's show. This is a legitimate type of thing. This girl is not going to be available. They're maybe at dinner or whatever before the show, whatever. He just let me in and assumed that like, yeah, this is legitimate. Now, these are the types of things that you can do. And I'm not telling you to do that either. What I'm telling you is look at what's going on in your life and where you're going and see what you can get away with. But you always got kind of like your get out of jail free card in your penetration test. You have this ticket to get in this movie. You have your concert ticket. You have your badge on you at this conference. You have this badge on you at the office, but you don't have to display it. And when we get back to the office, again, treat it like a penetration test. When you come in the morning, tailgate, okay? Don't badge in. Like, I don't care what your policy is at work, right? Big deal. They're not going to get all that mad at you. Try to tailgate in, right? You know, obviously, if you got some crazy man trap that's going to stop you, it's not going to work. But if you just got badge readers and you see someone you don't know, you know, walk right up with them or be on your cell phone, sit there, wait for them. Oh, I just finished my phone call. Follow them in, try to walk in behind them and see if they even question you. Because again, that whole fear of being questioned and that whole uncomfortable situation is going to get you used to what you need for your penetration test. Now, this is the penetration testing side of things, right? Turn your life into a penetration test, whatever it is. Go as far as you're comfortable with, even if it's just saying like, hello in an elevator. Oh, you're here on, you know, a family trip with your family. Where are you guys going to? Disney World? Cool. My favorite park is this. Have a conversation. If that's as far as you can go, that's how far you go today. But if you're super comfortable with this thing, push it. Try to push it, right? You know, let's say, for example, let's say somebody invited you to meet them somewhere and there's different layers of things to get to where you need to go. So instead of getting to that location and then calling your friend to let you in, try to get into where your friend is without calling them, right? So if there's receptions and there's security guards and there's, you know, door people and invite only and all of this nonsense, if it's not going to get you shot by somebody or thrown in jail, try to get to your friend without ever doing anything and then just say hello, right? Because the interactions you have on the way, like chatting with that reception person, dealing with the door person and getting them to let you through without verifying and, you know, keying in and having conversations and commonalities with these people and getting them to feel trustworthy that, you know, you're allowed to be in where you're supposed to go and helping you get to where you want to go is going to basically be a penetration test in itself and good tests of how you're doing as you are progressing with all of this social stuff. Right? But if we drop this back again, right? Let's say, okay, we're not comfortable enough to do that. We need to do, you know, things that are a little easier first, you know, like that saying hello in the elevator. Well, there's other things you can do. Some people are absolutely terrified to go out to a restaurant, sit down by themselves and eat alone. or go to a movie alone. If this is you, go alone. I mean, really, legitimately, tomorrow, go out, have a meal by yourself, interact with people, get used to being in, like, why does everybody else have friends out? All these tables are filled. I'm sitting by myself in this big table. Get used to that and feeling uncomfortable. That uncomfortable situation is what you need to master. And taking that uncomfortable situation that you've mastered, mixed in with the social element of interacting with all these new people, is really just going to get you where you need to go. And if you want to push that even a little farther, go on a trip by yourself. Like completely by yourself, because what this does is it forces you to find people and people to find you and to interact with the world rather than just your group of friends that are on a vacation together. You don't really interact with anybody else. Maybe you do, but it's limited. But if you go by yourself, for example, I went to Thailand I don't know, it was like 15 years ago now, back when it was not as cool to go and fight Muay Thai over there. I went for like 2 months. I was fighting Muay Thai out there, but like I didn't really know anybody who ever did that before. I didn't know the language. I didn't even know what city was what. I didn't know how to get to where I needed to go. I didn't know anything at all. I literally just bought a plane ticket, hopped on to Chiang Mai. I figured out once I got there how to get to Pai. And then I figured out how to like get to where I needed to go. And this was like, I don't even know. Yeah, I didn't have like Google Maps or anything on a phone back then. It was a much different time. And so you had to just like talk to people, deal with weird situations and problem solve and interact with things that were very just, not normal to you. And all of these things will make you a better social engineer. And as well as once you get there, there's going to be people from all walks of life, wherever you're traveling, that are much different than you. And you don't have your buddies to rely on, your little safe space. You're going to meet all these new different people and interact with them and learn so much different about different people and probably make friends for life, as well as work on your social engineering and have stories to tell. So this is a great way to work on your social engineering, and I highly suggest it. And if you don't want to go on a trip, there's other ways to do this. Pick something that makes you uncomfortable, but like maybe you were curious about it, right? You wanted to learn how to do this thing, but you've always been kind of scared to do it because you don't want to feel stupid doing it. Go sign up for it. Go do it and go alone. Again, go alone. Don't bring your buddies as a safe net. Go alone. Interact with the new people that you meet and feel stupid and ask questions and have conversations about people's lives and understand how these different people from different walks of life function, work, think, and you'll meet new friends. You'll get in new social situations. This is what you want to do. Now, if you really want to amp this up again, I like to give you like just more challenging things as we're talking. Create a persona. Right? I'm not telling you to be disingenuous and like lie, cheat, and steal, but create a new identity, create a new name, create a new, it can be similar to you a little bit, but different elements, and go out at night, again, by yourself, or even just, you can bring friends too and let your friends know what you're doing, but have conversations with people as a completely different identity and get used to working with something that's outside of your skin and it feels completely different because you're not using your own name and you got to hold that story and you're talking about like maybe you're going to tell them you're something that's completely different, like you love tennis or you're into art or something and you've never even looked at a painting in your life, right? And have these conversations with people and feel stupid and interact with these people and hold this story. Again, this is just going to get you better at being more creative and talking with people. And again, you don't have to be disingenuous. You can bring it back into yourself and have real genuine conversations with people. But you want to just not have the same conversations you have with everybody of, oh, what's your name? Who are you? Where are you from? Blah, 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 blah. No, you want to just like bridge it into something that's totally different and deal with those situations, right? So go out, be somebody else for the night. That's another challenge that I'm going to give you. And it really will help you come up with stories and tell stories. You always have, your own stories that you tell everybody. Come up with stories that are like completely fake, but maybe related, and change them a little bit and be able to like tell these and get different interactions from people, not the same interactions that you always get from your old stories with stuff you're comfortable with. And it'll just be a fun thing, right? And even when you're completely done, if you really like this person, you can even tell them what you were doing and it was part of your training for work if you really wanted to, because this will really help you in getting comfortable talking with everybody and dealing with lots of situations. Because as I said, you want to talk to absolutely everybody about everything and vibe with them, where you can just conversate about everything and you just start understanding the processes of people's minds and you know where they're going to go next because you've talked with so many people and you've had this conversation 1,000 times with the same basic thought process type of person, because people are not that dissimilar. And when you interact with all these people everywhere, you kind of know where they're going to go next. And these situations are really going to help you with penetration testing because you're going to be able to predict everything and anything. My friends always, it's weird, they think that I'm almost psychic or I have some weird fortune telling ability because they'll be talking about something. I'm like, oh, that's because this, and this, and this. Like, what do you mean? You don't know that? I go, I don't need to know that. It's just what's going to happen. And then it does. And they're like, holy crap, how did you know that? And I'm like, just because it's a scenario that happens 1,000 times. And in dealing with people, that's the next logical step. Or like you start getting these weird things where like you're talking with somebody and you can just tell by the vibe in their voice and how they're interacting that what something really bad they're about to tell you about before they even are like, hey, I got something bad to tell you. Like you just know, you have this feeling, you can predict it. Sometimes it's even almost weird to the point that like you're predicting stuff before you even have a conversation with them, just based on body language and interactions or just how they're wording texts. You just get so used to this social element that you can predict things that kind of almost make you seem like you're telling the future, but you're really not. You just have this intuitive feel about things that then just flows into everything. And it sounds kind of crazy, like, oh my God, like that's not real. But it is. Once you start interacting with everybody, these things happen, which is why I want you to talk to everybody. You know, another thing, if you want to challenge yourself, is get something that makes you go door to door and talk with whoever's opening that door. I can give you an example. When I was living in Vegas, I was going around door to door with this group that solved real estate problems. So we would look at like foreclosure lists and we would knock on their door and we'd ask them, hey, what's going on? I see you're on this foreclosure list. How can we save your house? And these people were people you would never talk to. You'd probably never interact with. You'd probably never meet out anywhere. They're completely different than you. All different neighborhoods everywhere. And they all had different stories. And the beautiful part was you're going to deal with the situation and help them solve that situation. But you also have to work through their emotional stuff. You have to work with the reason they got in the situation they were in, help them through that without like, you know, kind of stepping over like their mindset of how the world works. You have to kind of integrate it in to help them save their house while also like kind of dealing with why they lost the house in the first place, which is a delicate situation. Then you're going to have to deal with problem solving of dealing with like banks or dealing with probate courts and all these things. And you're interacting with all different people from the, you know, the lawyers and the judges and the people and how they don't want to do this and then helping them through the process, understanding, and all of this problem solving while interacting with all different peoples of all different walks of life, from the lawyer to the judge to the person to the whatever. And also the fact that you're just knocking blindly on a door and interacting with somebody who probably doesn't even want to answer their door for you. It's going to be uncomfortable. And it's going to make you really good at social interactions when shit hits the fan. So that's just something if you really want to challenge yourself. I don't expect you to go do this, but if you have the opportunity to do it, go do it. It will make you amazing at it. It's kind of like the salespeople that knock on your door and you just shut the door in their face. They need to get you to talk to them so they can do their pitch. And most of the time, you're just going to shut their door in their face. This is a little different because, you know, I was helping people. So they kind of wanted to talk to me. But again, they're still, you know, what kind of scam are you running, etc., right? But these things will make you excellent at the social element. And then things get intuitive again, right? You understand that mindset of how these people think in rough situations and how they're going to react. And it's going to make you amazing. And I also want you to think too, like start looking at people who are good social engineers as well. And we'll get into that in a minute too with like a couple book suggestions and other things, is like who's good at social engineering, right? Obviously people like sales and marketing, although they can kind of put you off sometimes because it almost feels like, because they're trying to sell you something. But you can understand, like, they're smiley, they make you want to like them, they can conversate with you, and they can vibe off of you, and next thing you know, they trick you into something or whatever, right? Or you got like your pickup artist guys, and they're going out and maybe they were socially awkward, and then they're talking to so many girls that they kind of get numb to the fact that, like, oh wait, like, I'm not going to die. I can talk to this cute girl that I couldn't talk to before. Those guys get really, really, really good too. And it's not the best way to go meet a girl, but it is a good way to build up your confidence with talking with people and interacting with people, especially like if you're this really nerdy guy who's always getting shut down, and then all of a sudden you're talking to these cute girls that you're interested in, they're not shutting you down because you kind of built some social skills and whatnot. It's a really good thing. So these guys get really good too. Or if you want to keep going down that, like the rabbit hole of who's good, dude, look at dancers at strip clubs. Like, they talk to every single person who walks through the door, and they have fake personas half of the time, fake stories. They have all kinds of things to get you to give them money, right? These people are extremely good. Like, I'm not going to like tell you to do this, but even the social engineers, that will get you good too. Social engineer those salespeople. So like, you're going through the whole process. They don't even sell you anything, and they're kind of eating out of your hand based on commonalities and vibing with them. Or like, you're going to that strip club and you didn't give that girl a dime, and she's slipping you her phone number and wants to hang out because she just had a good time, and completely flipped the script because she technically shouldn't want anything to do with you. And now she just wants to hang out with you. You never gave her a dime. Like, these are the things you got to think about. Just anything and everything that just makes you better at getting a vibe with people that just not necessarily are in your peer group. And that's the main thing I want to put across to you here. The social in social engineering. The engineering part is that pretexts and the stories and getting to where you need to go. You're going to engineer this sequence of events, but when you have the social element to back it all up, everything flows naturally. You predict the situations and you get where you need to go. Hopefully a lot of those suggestions help you out, and like these stories, because these are all real life stories that I'm telling you. Like, I can tell you crazy stories my friends have done in LA. It's absolutely ridiculous, but another time, right? So let's also talk about books and stuff too, right? And I'm going to suggest books that maybe you haven't heard of, and that like, maybe you're going to be like, what the hell is he telling me this book? This is not a social engineering book. This is not Art of Deception by Kevin Mitnick, which is a fantastic book, well dated on the technology, great for social engineering. But again, it's very specific with penetration testing. I want you to be good at the social element and understanding people and how they work, being able to conversate with them. So I'm going to give you a couple different examples. You don't have to read these, but I think they would be beneficial to you for a lot of reasons. I will explain why. Okay, number one would be, and I think I might have suggested this before, was Built for Growth. And really, a reason why I like this book is that it goes through different personalities in a business, right? From your person like, myself, where if I work at an office, I want to be kind of left the hell alone, and I'm just going to go like hard and just get shit done. But if you're micromanaging me, like, dude, you're going to get punched in the face. So you have to know that person's personality, how to interact with them, and how to make them excel while still managing them, right? Or you got the opposite person, the person who like, really just wants to just be told what to do, and they're just going to go at it. And then they want like, positive feedback, etc., an interactive whole thing. Or, you got people who just want to take the reins and just roll with something and build a team and do it and be just left freedom to do all these things and interact with these people and manage stuff, right? Or you got the opposite, the person who wants to follow those people and just be inspired and work hard towards something as a group. Or, there's all these different personality types. Like, the opposite of me would be the person that they need to be told, hey, you're doing an awesome job. Keep it up. Like, that is badass, what you did, blah, blah, blah. And they need all that positive feedback, and they want to feel like they're really, really appreciated. Whereas like, I could care less if, you feel like I did a good job. I'm just going to give you badass shit anyway. So we're like the opposite. But understanding all these personality types and how to interact with them and how they fit in the ecosystem will help you deal with a lot of society, because when you leave work, you're still dealing with the same different personality types, and understanding how to interact with those people and how each of these personality types interact with each other, absolutely fantastic, right? Especially if you are running a business, this is going to be great for you. Now, another one I'm going to give you, let's say you're just working in a business, you're a manager, you have conversations with people, or you're dealing with all of your managers. Another good book I liked, I think they gave me this one when I did the Alt MBA, which was a great program as well, is The Coaching Habit. Say less, ask more, and change the way you lead forever. Now, basically what this book is a manager having conversations with your employees, like maybe you're having those meetings and nothing ever really comes out of it, and it feels more like you're telling them your tasks, and then they're telling you, good boy, bad boy, oh, you need to do this. Instead of doing that, it's more like you're doing a lot more listening and kind of pushing down the path of opening up and talking more and getting more out of an interaction. Now, you can use this from the standpoint of you're having a conversation with your manager and you're getting more out of that interaction with them, or the normal way this is you're having an interaction with the people that maybe you're talking with that's working on your team and getting more out of them by saying less and getting more back and interacting with people. I believe this same author has some other books that are also quite good as well. But again, this is not social engineering and how to do neuro-linguistic programming and all of that, stuff. This is just how to be a regular flipping human being and have our conversations with people, how to be social, and how to get more out of your life and really expand things, make friends. If I was going to quote the book, right, make friends and influence people. And the way that you're doing that is understanding how the world works, integrating it all back in, seeing things before they happen, and you're going to be amazed at how this changes your life. As far as your penetration testing goes, your social engineering at work, making new friends, understanding people, and not getting as mad at people just because they're different than you. You're going to start understanding why they do what they do and how to interact with them as well, which you can use for evil. As the FBI interrogator told me, please do not use your skills for evil when talking with me, because he told me I was absolutely scary while he watched my interactions with people, and what I was capable of. Instead, use your power for good and, do it for your penetration tests and make loads of friends while understanding how the world works. Now, I really hope this is beneficial for you. This is very different than my normal videos, but this is a highly, highly requested topic from everybody I talk to, because they see me like, hey, dude, how are you dating that model or that rock star? How did you meet those athletes from YouTube and now they're staying at your house and you're working out with them all the time? Or how did you meet literally everybody you wanted to meet? And I'm like, because I was a human being that interacted with the world. It's that simple. And they look at me like, what do you mean you're a human being that interacts with the world? And it's like, exactly what I told you in this video. Exactly the steps that I gave to you in this video. Utilize these things from step one of saying hello in the elevator to working through processes of turning your work into a penetration test, turning meeting up with people in some place that you shouldn't be in to a penetration test, and having conversations with everybody from your meeting at work with an employee, turn it into a social engineering session. And you'll be amazed at how good you get so quickly. And I know this is vastly different than every other person on the subject for social engineering, but I don't give a shit. This is how it actually works if you want to get good. Enjoy, and if you enjoyed this video, share it out with everybody. I'll really appreciate it. Peace, and I will catch you later, dude.